For context, coming into the new year, I had no idea my wife had been, at the bare minimum, having an emotional affair with a coworker. On New Year's Eve, before I found out about this, she came home and acted extremely cold toward me and our kids, just in a really pissed off mood. Earlier that evening, she asked if she could go out to have one drink with a female coworker, whom I knew and trusted, and I told her that was cool but that the kids were staying up for the ball drop, so as long as she could be back to celebrate with them, I was fine with it. Well, she ended up getting off work at 11:30 and barely had enough time to get home. After the ball dropped, she cried and cried. I asked her what was wrong, and she said she got invited to her friend's house to have drinks with them. I said, "Look, I'm not sure what's wrong and why you're crying about this, but it's fine. You deserve a girls' night out every once in a while. I don't mind watching the kids, just go." I put the kids to bed, she left, and then about 3 hours later, so 3 a.m., I tried to contact her. No answer. I waited about 15 minutes, called her again. No answer. I called her friend who she's supposed to be with. No answer. She then texted me back 5 minutes later and said, "Yeah, I'm still coming home tonight. We're still drinking." Never in our 6 years of marriage had I felt a gut feeling that something else was going on, but that night it all hit me. I went through our phone records and found another number I was unfamiliar with that she had been in contact with all night. Ignoring my calls, texting that number in between, etc. She had also been texting this number for a 3-month period daily. I never suspected that she would be texting another dude while right beside me, watching family movies either, as the times had shown. How I didn't see this, I have no idea. Maybe she had this individual listed as mom in her phone. I don't know. I had never gotten this vibe or feeling our entire marriage. I was blindsided by it. Anyway, I confronted her about it through text with the proof like an idiot. She speeds home, deletes everything on her phone, no way of getting the backups restored, no way of ever knowing she did not meet up with this guy. Upon finding this out, I immediately told her I wanted a divorce. It was at this point she began getting violent with me. Talking crap about everything I had been doing to keep us financially stable, the 18-hour workdays that kept a roof over our heads. She told me that I needed to leave even though I pay rent and both our kids are asleep. I refused. We slept in separate rooms that night, and the next day she tried to act like nothing even happened, claiming that she remembered we'd fought but couldn't remember what it was about. So I show her the phone records even though I'm positive she was just trying to pull some crap, and she confesses who the individual was and says they flirted a lot but never actually met up. I told her if that was true, she'd have no issues restoring the text messages she deleted, at which point it was confirmed she deleted everything and deleted her last backup. Since then, she's tried hard to convince me they never did anything and never saw each other aside from work. I keep finding bits and pieces of things that don't make sense. Chunks of text deleted from her friends' messages around that time, pictures on her Google Drive from that night, where she was with, who she said she was, all deleted from her phone. For what reason? The most damning evidence I have is for a 2-hour period on New Year's Eve. They stopped texting each other then randomly started texting again at around 3 a.m. when I started calling and got that feeling. My gut tells me she left her friend's place, went to his place, and then went back, or, she went straight to his place from our place, then went to her friends when she found out I was calling them. There are revealing pictures of herself she never sent me also on her Google Drive taken on Snapchat. She's since given me all her attention and initiates intimacy tenfold. The texting stopped, and she shows me everything on her Snapchat and even downloads her data to show me she's not hitting other people up. I'm seeing the side of her I haven't seen since we were married all those years ago, but I can't help but trust my gut in demanding a divorce. I feel like she's kept things from me, and not knowing for sure is eating me up inside. Sorry for the way this was written. I'm aware there is some jumping back and forth, and I'm just scatterbrained right now. It's honestly getting to me more now than the night I found out. I feel stupid, just know that it's been over 4 months since this occurred. My parents know all of this and keep pressuring me to work it out and not dwell. My brothers are saying, screw that, get a divorce. Am I wrong in seeking a divorce? It's also worth adding I come from a family that has thoroughly convinced one of my cousins that she needs to stay in her marriage even when her husband became solely reliant on her, got addicted to coke, is still addicted to coke, and physically abused her. All because by golly, no one in this family has ever gotten a divorce. So essentially, doing so, I would get disowned by my parents, my sister, all my cousins, all my aunts, all my uncles, but I would still have the support of my 2 brothers. I've been ignoring her since last night, and she's been snapping and calling me all morning to see what's wrong. Update 1. After a long day of considering my options, on Friday, I sat my wife down in the evening when she got off work and after I had put the kids to bed. As soon as I brought up that my trust in her was completely gone, she immediately became argumentative and essentially stated, "I thought we had left this in the past. You never trusted me, did you?" I responded, "Even if you didn't do anything physical or meet up with him outside of work, you'll never let me see those text messages. You'll never pull the Snapchat data." She responded, "You're right, marriage is based on trust, and if you don't trust me, then maybe we ought to call it quits." The irony in this is that I worked 18 to 19-hour days for the past few years, barely being able to do anything I wanted to do in my life because I was supporting our children, getting them to bed, cleaning the house all the time, doing all the cooking, and barely even getting enough sleep, probably took years off my life just from the stress. She, on New Year's Eve, said screw the kids, screw you, and essentially went out to party with her friends, all the while ignoring calls from me and our daughter asking where she was, while also responding to her bare minimum emotional affair partner. Not getting into all the details so as to not repeat myself between this and the update. Long story short, in my state, we have to be separated for a year before a divorce can be finalized. When I agreed with her that we should start separating and that I had already been in contact with a lawyer, she freaked the FCK out on me. She begged me not to go through with it, but alas. Next Friday, I will be dropping her off at her parents' a few hours away. The kids will be staying with me for now, with the help of one of my brothers. I told her there was only one way I would put this off for now. Pull the data, pull the texts, prove your case. She looked down at the ground, one more time, and told me that's a violation of her privacy. We haven't spoken since. For now, for my kids, I gotta keep on keeping on. Up in the comments. I hate the trickle truths. First, it was a guy in a different state. Second, it was a coworker. Third, it was someone underneath her that she supervises. Fourth, and just now, randomly got a text from her stating she may have told him she loves him, but instantly regretted it, and that's it. Yeah, okay. Update 2. I have filed for divorce against my family's wishes, a whole other story also answered in the previous thread. We are separated, but the divorce can't be finalized until next year. 1 year of being separated is required. She begged and begged for me not to go through with it, begged me to stay, not to toss everything out over one little mistake. Funny how she sees infidelity as a mistake that lasted 3 months. Regardless, I've spent a lot of time with my kids. She sees them on weekends if she chooses. I'd love to say that I'm over it all, but I'm still healing. I really did love her, and I wish things worked out differently, but I can never trust her again. She tried everything she could intimately to get me to stay. Hell, the day she finally confessed everything, I came home to her dressed up like never before, ready to go. I declined. She went as far as offering me head every day for the rest of our lives if I stayed. I've been working and taking care of the kids. It's harder on them than it is on me if I'm being honest. They still don't understand. I've just been telling them mommy has some things she's working on. I don't have the heart to tell them we won't be a functional household anymore at this time. Also, my parents haven't once talked to or reached out to me since I told them I was filing for divorce, not even to check on my kids or anything. But I've been making this work with the help of my brother and a few good friends. A few girlfriends from the past have hit me up to see if I want to catch up, but I need to focus on myself and my kids. Thank you all for reaching out through DMing and commenting. Commenter. Has she actually admitted to cheating and the scope of what she did? I'm sorry, I didn't see that in any of your posts. Ah, sorry. Yes, she sent me a half-baked confession while I was at work through Snapchat one day, bawling hysterically, telling me she messed up and kissed him one time after he walked her to her car. I don't believe that for 1 second. I said, if that's all, then prove it by providing me with the messages you deleted. Once again, I was met with, that's an invasion of my privacy, plus if I were in your position, I would just want to forgive, forget, and move on. Easy for the cheater to go ahead and say. I pressed it a few more times and was met with, trust me, you don't want to read that crap. Why would you want to read that? Case closed. Edit. I'm going to vent for a second. I'll be honest with you all. I tried to give her one final chance to talk things through. I told myself the minute she got hostile about it all, I was done. Within 5 minutes of our final talk, I was being blamed for working too much. I quote, this isn't a F-King trial. You weren't perfect either. I was practically screaming for help, and you let me drown. I took the kids to daycare, cleaned the house all the time, picked them up after work, put them to bed, did all the cooking, did the dishes, took on a side hustle to give her a dream vacation, which we went on just before her affair started. The real kicker I didn't tell you all about was when I went through her phone that first night. I saw messages from her and her mom talking about how she felt a disconnect, that I wasn't what she wanted anymore, months before her affair began. Her mom highly encouraged her to sit me down and explain the way she felt. She even told her mom that she did. She never did. Apparently, sitting me down and having a talk was her going off and having an affair. I guarantee she'll never find someone who will treat her the way I did. Breakfast in bed Saturday and Sunday. I woke up with the kids so she could sleep in for years. She gave it all up for someone who can't even cover their own bills and still lives with mommy and daddy. The only thing he had that I didn't was more time because of a part-time job.